To Kim Radio, 1150 AM and 106.7 FM. Talk radio that matters.
The Illiva Nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
This is where South Dakota sports fans come for real South Dakota sports talk. Welcome to SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown. From East River to West River, high school to college to the pros. This is your sports talk show that covers it all. And now, on Kim Radio, talk that matters. The host of SD Sports Buzz Tonight, here's Nate Brown.
Well, hi again, everybody. Welcome back in. Wednesday night is South Dakota Sports Talk Night, and what a night tonight. I'll tell you what, it's high school football playoff time. Always exciting, no question. They got going last night in earnest, and now some more games coming up tomorrow. You look at it, 11A, 11AA, 11 AAA getting set and ready to go. A couple of tough draws for Rapid City Central, Rapid City Stevens, no doubt about that. We've got our eyes on this matchup in 11A. St. Thomas More hosting Hot Springs. Also some interesting games here. Douglas at home. Douglas gets to host another game in the 11AA playoffs, hosting some pretty good strides made for Dan Machacek and the Douglas Patriots out there at Box Elder. They're hosting Pierre tomorrow night. So really interesting matchups all across the board, and we'll talk to all the coaches right here. Winner got up going on their quest for a title in 11B. We'll talk to their coach, Dan Akers, straight ahead. Also in the lineup tonight, SD Sports Buzz tonight will feature Coach Dan Machacek out at Douglas, head coach at St. Thomas More, Wayne Sullivan, Central's head coach, Rob Sales. They had a big win over Rapid City Stevens last week. The Hard Rockers had a tough one against Chadron State, and we're on the verge of beating Chadron State. They lose by 4. South Dakota Mines now 5-3. At home this weekend on Saturday against Fort Lewis, trying to get to 6-3 on the season. We'll talk to Zach Tinker, head coach of the Hard Rockers. Also, on the other side of that matchup, we're looking at St. Thomas More Hot Springs. Hot Springs head coach Ben Kramer will drop by tonight, and we'll break down the entire playoff scenario. Take a look at some of his favorites with Sioux Falls best. Craig Maddock, yes, KWSN Sioux Falls Sports Radio. We'll talk to Craig Maddock straight ahead. SD Sports Buzz tonight. Glad to be back on the air. Nate Brown with you on 1150 AM, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and also online streaming. Welcoming everybody wherever you may be watching on our new YouTube stream. You can bring it up right there at sdsportsbuzz.com. I always take a look at the matchups. This is always a fun time of year. There's no doubt about it. And you make the predictions as I have throughout the high school football season. And I start with 11 AAA. Brown's best. Let's get them in the books. 11 AAA. It goes, you know, what I've been saying on this program for the last couple of years when we've gone to 7 classes. It's really, well, let's just say watered down. Really, 11 AAA has been the biggest class that's been affected by this. You only have 8 teams. You look at it, the matchups, it somewhat still is the haves and the have-nots. And when you look at the first-round matchups with the big schools, the 11 AAA division, you look at the first-round matchups, there's just not great matchups. And what that tells you is there's not a lot of parity. The teams that have been dominating throughout the year are going to get the high seeds, and then the teams that have struggled a little bit are going to get the lower seeds, and that's the discrepancy between those two, the high seed and the low seed in AAA, probably the biggest discrepancy of any class. There's some great teams in 11AA, there's some good teams in 11A, but there's not as big a gap from the teams towards the bottom, the lower seeds, to the higher seeds as there is in 11 AAA. I mean, there's some pretty big gaps still when you look at, for example, Sioux Falls Roosevelt, the 2 seed, playing Sioux Falls Lincoln. That's a big gap in talent. Sioux Falls Lincoln not so long ago was playing in the state championship. I get that. So it's cyclical. It's high school football, I understand. But the 7-class system has really had an effect, especially on AAA and especially in these first-round games. It just doesn't give you the aura, the feel, the excitement of playoff football. That being said, you look at the matchups, Brandon Valley is hosting Rapid City Central. That's a tough draw there. Brandon Valley got knocked out of the 3 seed because it looks like the top 3 teams, Washington, Roosevelt, Brandon Valley, that seems to be the case. That's played out throughout the year. So Central gets a tough draw. Rapid City Central is physical enough, big enough. That's a tough one for them. The matchup is really difficult in certain spots athletically for Central. But up front, I think they'll be okay. It's battling Brandon Valley skill players on the defensive side. Brandon Valley's got a lot of good skill position type guys. They do a lot of things. They open it up pretty good through the air. They've done that the last 5 to 6 years. Rapid City Central, tough one on the road. That would be a monumental upset. Good luck to the Cobblers. We'll talk to Rob Sales coming up later. But I think Brandon Valley will win that game. Rapid City Stevens, the 8 seed, has to go to Howard Wood Field and play the number 1 seed, Sioux Falls, Washington. Again, a very, very tough task. And it goes to, and what I've been pointing out here, Rapid City sports fans, don't get too wound up yet. Don't get too upset yet. Why? Stevens and Central have made some strides. I will point that out again. It's not about moral victories. I get it. Varsity high school football, we're trying to win. We're trying to compete and really get after it. Central and Stevens aren't there yet with the Washingtons, Roosevelts, Brandon Valley. They're not there yet, a week-in, week-out basis. But they have made enough strides over the last couple of years. You've seen a lot of good things happening in the programs. The numbers are up. The competitiveness is up. I think Central and Stevens have made the strides. We're just not going to see how big a strides yet with those first-round matchups. I want to get into 11 AA. This is also one of those things. You look at these matchups, you could have a couple of good games here, and I'll point this out. Brown's best picks here on SD Sports Buzz tonight, talking high school football playoffs. 11 AA gets started tomorrow night out at Box Elder. Douglas, the 4 seed, Pierre, the 5 seed, and I think the Patriots will compete here. Pierre is not as good as they were a couple of years ago. They go to the state championship a couple of years ago. They're down. Douglas is also maybe not quite as good as they were a couple of years ago, even in that realm. But Douglas is very good on the defensive side. They've shown that they can play AA schools tough. They played Harrisburg, who's the number 2 seed, very, very tough. So you think on paper, Pierre would be the favorite. That's what most of South Dakota is thinking. Look out for it. I think Douglas will get it done tomorrow night. I really think they will. 6 o'clock start out at Box Elder Patriot Stadium. I think Coach Magic and the guys will get it done. They've just had some inconsistencies. Young team, inconsistencies. They've gotten better, though, here towards the end of the year. I'll take Douglas in a tight one by 6 over Pierre. Douglas over Pierre tomorrow. You can call it an upset. I think it's a 4 over a 5. Most of South Dakota, I don't think that's going to happen. Spearfish is at home. They get to host Huron. And if you remember, just a few weeks ago, Spearfish was at home against Huron, and they were on the verge of beating them. They were right there beating them. That's going to give Spearfish the confidence. I don't think they quite have enough, though. I really don't. I like the way Huron's got some good quarterback play this year. Good quarterback, some great players that he has weapons to throw to. I think Huron was woken up by that a little bit when they almost got knocked off by Spearfish. I'll take Huron to beat Spearfish in a tight one. Huron, the 6 seed, Spearfish, the 3 seed. And finally, 11A gets going tomorrow night as well. Here's how it breaks down if you haven't looked at it. This might be the most intriguing class out there. It really, in my opinion, it is, because in 11B, you've had a lot of teams either go down or go up. Some went down to 9-man. Others went up to 11A, like the St. Thomas Moors. Went from 11B to 11A. So you have winner, and it seems like everyone else in 11B, it's not an intriguing class anymore. 11A has turned into the class everybody's looking at. And this is what you get, a real feel, even in this first round football playoff feel, because they break it out now. It's no more region opponents. It's 1 through 8. And they're seeded this way. T-Area is the number 1 seed after their big win over Madison a couple of weeks ago. T-Area hosting West Central. Keep your eye on that game. West Central is not the West Central of old. They really aren't. They're not the West Central State Championship, 11 straight appearance West Central. but that'll be a tough first-round matchup for T. I think T will end up hanging on. So T plays West Central. Sioux Falls Christian hosting Del Rapids, another really good one at the 4 and 5 matchup. Then it's Madison, the 3 seed, hosting Millbank. That'll probably be a blowout again. They just beat them last week. It's a rematch of the regular season finale. Madison, I think, takes care of Millbank easily. That'll probably be one of the bigger blowouts in 11A. And then it's St. Thomas More and Hot Springs, and I'll wrap up my picks with that one. Hot Springs did not think they played very well. They really didn't when they played St. Thomas More. They felt they didn't put their best effort forward. St. Thomas More, though, too fast, physical, and a lot of run blitzing, a lot of stunting going on. The defense has been the difference for St. Thomas More. They've got all the offensive weapons in the world. Their defense has been the difference, and I think will continue to be the difference. I'll take St. Thomas More, the 2 seed, over Hot Springs coming up tomorrow night at St. Thomas More. We come right back and break down the high school playoffs with Craig Maddock of KWS and Sioux Falls Sports Radio. Glad to have you on board SD Sports Buzz tonight, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Stores on East St. Patrick Street in Rapid City.
Looking for a winning team? Check out the Black Hills Unbeatable Tandem of Xerox and the color experts at Matheson's. Hit a home run with the Xerox Work Center MFP today, and you'll be able to print, copy, and scan your crucial business documents and marketing materials just like the pros do. Matheson's cost per copy program is the safe play every time. You pay nothing up front for the equipment, and the high cost of supplies and repairs become a nightmare of the past. Visit the Matheson's team of Xerox All-Stars at 324 St. Joe Street, downtown Rapid City, or at mathesons.com.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters. When it comes to shopping for a used vehicle, you can find good, you can find reliable, and you can find affordable. But it isn't too often that you find all three in one vehicle, except when you shop at Pro Auto Care. At Pro Auto Care, all vehicles are inspected and serviced on-site by ASE certified auto technicians, so you know your vehicle will be reliable. And they're affordable, too, many priced under $4,000. Check them out at Pro Auto Care, 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City, 342-0857.
Customer service and knowledge. You expect it, and we provide it. As a general insurance agency, Fisher Rounds & Associates has aligned itself with the nation's strongest carrier networks, giving you the highest quality coverage at the best possible price. When it comes to claims or other issues, we handle everything so you don't have to. That's what we mean when we say we're at your service and at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, proudly serving South Dakota with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Rapid City, Sioux Falls, and Watertown.
And 200, 2 and a quarter, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, 50, want to get 250 here, no 75, 275 now, 3.
Hi, folks. Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com.
Sold it here for $575. How would you like to have your crown in 2 hours instead of 2 visits? Hi, this is Dr. Eldon Rice with Rice Area Dental in Rapid City. Technology is changing, and at Rice Area Dental, we are keeping up by using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. We offer crowns in hours instead of days. No more temporaries, no more multiple visits, no messy dental impressions, just same-day restorations.
Call us at 342-RICE. That's 342-7423. Dr. Rice Area Dental on Canyon Lake Drive, the dentist that makes you smile.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body. Get a drive-through estimate or come on in. We're right here under the big red M. Over 30 years our family has put quality and service first. We take pride in making sure you're satisfied. Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Welcome back. SD Sports Buzz tonight, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Stores on East St. Patrick Street in Rapid City. Nate Brown, glad to have you on board. 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and online live streaming at sdsportsbuzz.com. Big lineup tonight. High school football playoffs underway, and 11A, AA, AAA get going tomorrow night. Look forward to some matchups. We'll talk to all the coaches straight ahead, get you plugged in on the big games. And one class I'm really looking at is 11A. Really, really interested, and especially a lot of people dialed in on St. Thomas More, who's just been rolling this year, unbeaten. And they face Hot Springs in round one, a team they've already beaten. You know, a lot of people would say that's an okay first-round matchup, especially with this new scenario in 11A where they just go 1 through 8 right away. Normally it was a region game, and then they broke it out. They go to the 1 through 8 right away, and it just so happens Hot Springs, St. Thomas More matched up when it comes to the power points. That seems like it may be beneficial for the Cavaliers, but we shall see. Hot Springs has not been a pushover, as you know, a good program. Those guys have been good over the years as well, and they've gone deep into the playoffs over the years, even with the likes of West Central. So we'll talk to Hot Springs head coach Ben Kramer on tap up next. But first we go out to Sioux Falls, break down the high school football playoffs a little bit more. KWSN Sioux Falls Sports Radio's Craig Maddock joins us on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Craig, how are you?
Nate, I'm doing great. Great time of the year. We've been talking the football playoffs and the anticipation of some pretty good matchups. Maybe not in the first round, but certainly in the second round for the big schools.
Well, that's the thing. I just opened up the show with that. This 7-class system really has shown sometimes now when you, especially with these first-round matchups for the AAA class tomorrow, it really shows it still seems to be the haves and the have-nots. And I even point out, you know, Roosevelt against Sioux Falls Lincoln. I don't think anybody expects that to be close. Stevens sure has their hands full. Could be very, very dicey at Sioux Falls, Washington. So it seems like there's such a discrepancy in that class from the top seeds to the low seeds. When you compare 11A, we're going to have some great games, I think. Maybe Madison Millbank, maybe not so much. I think you're going to have a few good games there. In AAA, I don't know if you're going to have very many at all.
AAA, we will not. It will not. You have 4 teams that are by far heads and shoulders above everybody else. You know, Lincoln got a little lucky last week because they used a 99-yard kickoff return, and then 2 plays later, a 28-yard fumble return for a touchdown. But the offense didn't score at all in the second half, and they were able to hold off O'Gorman. O'Gorman, of course, out their quarterback, Hunter Thompson, not playing. Kind of sounds like he may not play again tomorrow, but O'Gorman shouldn't have a problem. It's O'Gorman, Brandon Valley, Roosevelt, and Washington. Those are your top 4, and I certainly expect this time tomorrow night that we will know that it's Washington, O'Gorman in the semis, along with Roosevelt and Brandon Valley.
So you think those semis, if that's how it goes, that's, you know, obviously what people are thinking on paper here, Washington, O'Gorman, and Brandon Valley, Roosevelt, those are good semifinals?
Well, especially the last one, because Roosevelt, O'Gorman went a 7-point game here not too long ago. Brandon Valley was in the lead going into the fourth quarter. Roosevelt came back and they won the ball game. I would expect that one to be close again. Don't count out Brandon Valley. Wouldn't surprise me if they get a little surprise, but Roosevelt's still pretty good, but it'll still be some good semifinal matchups. Would be, a week from tomorrow night?
Yeah,
a week from Friday night.
Friday. They're going Friday next week? Is that right?
Correct, yeah.
Okay.
For the 11 AAA, AA, and Single A, those that win tomorrow night would play a week from Friday.
Okay, I got you. Normally we did that, I believe that was on Saturday, but they've kind of moved it around again. Craig Maddock, KWSN Sioux Falls Sports Radio. Here's a class, 11 AA. We got Douglas out here hosting Pierre, and I actually like Douglas's chances there. AA has been so bizarre this year. Douglas was in a game against Harrisburg for 3 quarters. I don't know if Harrisburg wasn't ready. You know, they had problems with Douglas for 3 quarters last year when they played him too. But I wonder, what's your take on 11 AA overall? It seems like Mitchell is a cut above. Is Harrisburg close to Mitchell, do you think, at this point?
Yes, I got those two going to the Dome. Harrisburg beat Mitchell the first game of the year, but the only reason, Harrisburg beat Mitchell first game of the year, but the only reason why Harrisburg won was because Mitchell had 3 or 4 or 5 guys who had cramps in that first game and didn't finish, and that allowed Harrisburg to go ahead and win. I think those two far heads and shoulders above everybody else in that division.
That's what it seems like. Mitchell seems like they've hit their stride. Like I've looked at their games, I've looked at their scores. They seem like they've gotten really, really good as the season gone on.
Yep, this is a class they've been looking at since they were peewees. This is a class they've looked at saying, hey, they could be something special. They've got the speed, they've got size, they've got a good quarterback. This is a team that likes to roll up points. They're really good defensively. I can't wait to see what they do here in the postseason.
Okay, so it's the hypothetical. I did this a couple of years ago with Pierre when Pierre was really, really rolling. It's the hypothetical. Mitchell, they're rolling right now. We've seen Harrisburg play some AAA games. I wonder, Mitchell, if we don't have the 7 classes, is Mitchell in the mix in AAA at all?
I would say probably. Yes. I mean, they had no problem with Lincoln this year. They beat Lincoln for the 3rd time, and they played Lincoln 3 times in a row here, and they've won every one. I think Mitchell would be competitive. Would they win? I don't know about that.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because now the argument is you have these ESD schools, the Piers, the Mitchells, and if Mitchell gets a taste of a state championship, I don't think we're going to see this change anytime soon as far as the AA situation.
I don't think so either, Nate. I think we'll see the AAA stay the same. I think we'll see 11AA stay the same. If it was my book, I would merge Class 11A and 11B together.
That's our best opportunity.
And I would take the 9-mans and make 2 divisions.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't think you're going to change the whole thing to the way it used to be. I think the best opportunity may be 11A, 11B. I look at 11A now. 11A is the most intriguing class to me. I know there's the Madison-Milbank matchup. I don't think that'll be very good from what we saw earlier in that matchup. Hot Springs, St. Thomas More, I don't think Hot Springs is what they have been in that matchup before, but you never know. St. Thomas More took care of them pretty good last time. But I do look at 11A. That's still up in the air. What's your take? You've always said it's going to be St. Thomas More and Madison. Well, it can't be because of the upset a couple of weeks ago. Now they're going to be.
It will be, but it'll be in the semifinals.
Yeah, right.
And that one is going to be a beaut. That is going to be a beaut. Now, the tough part is Madison will have to go out to St. Thomas More. The deal with Madison, St. Thomas More has some of the stuff that T area has, some athleticism, and they were able to capitalize with some pretty good athleticism themselves to get touchdowns in T area beating Madison.
How did that happen, Craig? I mean, I didn't. How did that happen? If people don't follow it, Madison, they're undefeated. They're up to 25-0, I think was the score. How did that happen where they got beat?
Well, the defensive T area stopped that high-powered offense. Now, I know that Madison had, I think, one lineman who may have been down for the count, but still, that didn't matter. T area's defense shut down Madison, and their offense got some big plays, and they were able to run right around the corner. There were a lot of sweeps, beating the running back, beating the linebacker to the corner, getting some good plays. And sometimes they had short field. Madison kind of kicked themselves with some turnovers, and T area was able to capitalize it. And tell you what, that was a very impressive win for T area, and it really set the showdown for T area to move on. And you know what, the West Central, when they play tomorrow night, but West Central is not the West Central of what we've known years past. The T area should be able to win that one. I think the game of the night is going to be Sioux Falls Christian and Del Rapids.
Yeah.
Del Rapids is a team that's on a roll. They've won 5 in a row now. They have beaten some pretty good teams. They've vaulted themselves to the number 5 seed. They had a chance to be the 4 seed, but that's going to be a great game, and I think that was going to be close.
So you think it's going to be St. Thomas More and Madison in a semifinal. You didn't quite go down the road. You said it was going to be St. Thomas More Madison, you thought, in the Dome. Well, now they're meeting in the semifinals. Do you think St. Thomas More has enough?
I have not seen them play. All I've seen is the stats. And I know they can roll up the score. And I think that one will be a very high-scoring ball game.
High-scoring game.
I did tell you the road to the Dome was through St. Thomas More.
Yeah, that's right. That is right. It'll be an interesting scenario if that happens. By the way, winner in 11B. I've got head coach Dan Aker coming up tonight. Winner, you want to talk about a cut above everybody. I think that's really the scenario there. I don't know if anybody, I said at the beginning of the year, I don't think anybody's going to touch them. They've been unbelievably dominant, and it may continue just like we saw last year.
Well, and add to it the sad news that they lost one of their football players to a tragic farm accident here just 10 days ago. That has added a little more encouragement. They've got a memory of a teammate who lost his life, and so there's a lot of emotion on that team. And our hearts and thoughts and prayers have been with the Winter community here in the last 10 days. Dan Aker, though, he's the guy that he's done a fabulous job with that program, and he's got a team right now. They have, they brought everybody back from last year when they won it all. I agree, but Tri-Valley will be a nice matchup. That'll be the hardest game that Winter will have all year.
Is that right?
Be the one.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So that's the next one. Tri-Valley, Winter. You think it's going to? You said the hardest. You didn't say they were necessarily going to win, but you said the hardest for Winter. I don't know if anybody can touch them. But you remember, just a couple of years ago, Craig, Tri-Valley knocked off Winter just a couple of years ago, and that was a major upset, which we saw happen. We'll take a look at it. Craig Maddock.
I think that was the Hail Mary game, I believe.
Yeah.
Or was that maybe that was 2 times ago when they met, was the Hail Mary win in the Dome.
No, that's right. That was like 3 years ago. But I remember just in the early rounds of the playoffs a couple of years ago, Winter was a favorite, and they got beat by Tri-Valley. Everybody was shocked. We didn't expect it. By the way, you can listen to Craig Maddock on his show, KWSN.com, each weekday afternoon, KWSN Sioux Falls Sports Radio. Craig, are you worried at all about your Minnesota Vikings after last week? We'll end
You know what? That was not fun. That was not fun to watch. I called the players soft before Coach Zimmer did not like that. It would seem to me, when as an offensive line do you say, you know what, maybe I got to get better? Is it after your quarterback has been hit 10 times, 11, 12, 19 times he got hit? My goodness.
You're not bailing yet, though. They'll get it figured out, right? I mean, this is still a good football team, right?
Yes, it is still a very good football team. I think they'll be fine. They get the Chicago Bears on Halloween, and that's scary enough. I just don't. I'll be fine.
That's a good deal right there. They need to bounce back against the Bears, who are not playing very well. Craig, appreciate the time. Thanks.
Anytime, Nate. Thanks, pal.
All right, Craig Maddock, KWSN Sioux Falls Sports Radio, talking high school football playoffs. Listen to his show each weekday afternoon. You can do it online, KWSN.com. We come back and talk to the Hot Springs head coach, Ben Kramer, straight ahead, and Zach Tinker, South Dakota Mines head coach, trying to bounce back after a tough one against Chadron State. It's all coming up. This is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. If it's Wednesday night, it's SD Sports Buzz tonight here on 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and online live streaming at SDSportsBuzz.com.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's Sports Talk Show, SD Sports Buzz tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
At Farm Bureau, we know life insurance might not be the first thing on your mind today or any other day, but we also know that deep down, everyone wants to do the right thing for their family, and that means protecting what matters most. You might not want to think about life insurance right now, but right now is the right time to talk to a Farm Bureau agent. We'll make it easy for you. Farm Bureau agents make insurance simple.
Call me, Tom Berger, your Farm Bureau agent in Rapid City, at 348-3470.
Make the mountains your backyard. Make the lake your pool and the night sky your high-definition television. Stop by Dakota Discount RVs today and take a look at our wide variety of new and used fifth wheels, travel trailers, toy haulers, and more. We're sure you'll find something you love at a price you can afford. We take pride in our integrity and service long after the deal, so why pay more for good memories when you can buy with a comfortable, low-pressure, locally owned and operated RV dealer? At Dakota Discount RV, we can make your dreams come true at an affordable price.
3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
And welcome back, ST Sports Buzz tonight on 106.7 FM Kim Talk Radio and online streaming at stsportsbuzz.com. We'll keep you abreast of the World Series situation if you're out and about. I have to. My Cubs are battling. Last night was not very good. Ran into a buzzsaw last night. Cubbies trying to get back in it, even the series tonight. We'll keep you posted. Also, talking football, as you would expect. High school football playoffs really get cranking tomorrow night. St. Thomas More, Hot Springs coming up. We'll talk to both coaches. Ben Kramer down at Hot Springs, Wayne Sullivan over at St. Thomas More. It's all on tap. Rob Sales and the Central Cobblers winning the rivalry in Rapid City. The Cobblers beating Rapid City Stevens last week. Tough matchup in the first round of the AAA playoffs for Coach Sales and the Cobblers tomorrow on the road at Brandon Valley. It's all on tap. We'll get you plugged into those matchups coming up. South Dakota Mines was at home this past weekend as well. Big rivalry game, renewed, I should say. The first time they played Chadron State since 1995. And the Hard Rockers came out in a hurry. And then Chadron battled back, final 37-33. Chadron State slips by. South Dakota Mines now 5-3. And the head coach of the Hard Rockers back on the program, courtesy the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line, Zach Tinker. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nate. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. I want to talk about the Chadron State matchup. Just going into that, Coach, we talked a little bit about it here on the program. Talked a little bit about this rivalry that you haven't been a part of. I haven't been. A lot of folks haven't been that were associated with this because it hasn't been happening for 21 years here. It comes back. What was that feeling like just before things got going with the Chadron State matchup on the sideline as you kind of got your players ready for it? What was the atmosphere and the emotion like going in?
Well, it was a great day for football. I mean, ton of juice in the building. I think a lot of fans on hand. Certainly Chadron State, with their long tradition, they travel exceptionally well when they go on the road, especially right here in the region. And certainly we had a good juiced up crowd as well. And we were wearing the alternate jerseys. We had a big day with Alex's Lemonade stand, and so the kids were fired up to be in the gray jerseys. And so I thought there was a lot of juice in the building. But anytime you're talking RMAC football, anytime you're talking the Hard Rockers being at Dunham Field, it's going to be an exciting afternoon for football.
It was a great start. You get up 19-2. What was going through your mind at that point? You're up 19-2, Coach, pretty early.
Yeah, what was going through my mind was probably not a whole heck of a lot. When you're in it, you're really not looking at the scoreboard very much, honestly. Especially early in the game, you're still trying to get a feel for what they're trying to do defensively, what they're trying to do offensively. You're still trying to identify the matchups. You're still trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. You're still trying to solve those things. So, when you say that, honestly, it's hard to even remember what point of the game that might have been. I know it was probably early, but you're really not spending a lot of time looking at the scoreboard in that first half. You're really just trying to solve the puzzle of the game that's going on. And even when you're up 19-2, there are things that aren't going well, and you're trying to get those things fixed. So we were probably in problem-solving mode at that time.
What did you like about the start? Even when you go back and look at the film, it was a fast start, it seemed like. The defense came out well, offensively had some big plays. What did you like about the start?
I thought the big key was we were forcing a couple turnovers, and then we were capitalizing on those turnovers when we got the ball on offense. So, that's really the mojo that we create in our program. One of the things we're built on is doing just that, creating turnovers and then capitalizing on those turnovers. And that was really what we were doing early in the game. We were getting some big plays, a couple of big plays in the pass game early, but really it was just the ability to say, okay, we just got the ball back. We forced a turnover in the red zone. We were able to turn that into points, so all that stuff was really going in our favor early. And then obviously that was really where the tide turned, was we weren't able to have that same advantage in the turnovers. They did a good job taking it away from us, and then we couldn't keep it, we couldn't take it back from them. And that was really the story of the remainder of the game.
Yeah, you talked about it. We're talking to Zach Tinker, head coach, South Dakota Mines, Hard Rocker football 5-3. They're at home this Saturday at O'Hara Stadium, 1:00 kickoff. Trunk or treat game. Kids get in free if they wear their Halloween costume. Trunk or treat through the ramps. Should be a fun atmosphere. Nice day for football. And the RMAC as the Hard Rockers host Fort Lewis at 1 on Saturday. You said at the tide turn, it got close. It was back and forth. You had numerous turnovers. Something you try and hang your hat on is taking care of the ball, owning the ball. Had numerous turnovers. How surprised were you, though, Coach? You were in the game all the way through the end, even with, I guess, 5 official turnovers, and you could say even certain situations where you might have thought you even gave one more away, but a lot of turnovers, but you were right in it till the end. What does that say about your football team?
Well, I mean, anytime you turn the ball over 5 times in a game, which we did, you expect that you're going to lose. I mean, it's really difficult to even be in a game when you do that. But what does it say is it says that our kids played extremely hard on Saturday. Our kids played with a ton of energy. Our kids were in the fight. They stayed in the game. And it just shows you that sometimes the team that just makes the most mistakes is going to end up on the wrong side of the result. We're working on getting it fixed. It hasn't really been an issue of ours. So when you look at it that way, I would say, give credit to Coach Long and his coaching staff and their players for taking the football from us. And we don't anticipate it being a problem again. But that's the game. You got to be able to hold on to it. You got to be able to make those plays, and I think we're ready to do that coming up Saturday against Fort Lewis.
We'll talk about Fort Lewis after one quick one here. I know you try and put the game to bed. You guys have the rule in college football. You play it. It's over. Win it or lose it. You move forward. This was an emotional one. They came from behind. It was a tough one. You wanted it. I get it. What was the emotion? What was the message to the team right afterwards?
Well, right afterwards, everybody's disappointed. So, what message you give to the team right afterwards is you get them ready for that next opportunity. And, I think the one thing that bodes well for us is that, we had a game this past Saturday, and thankfully, as the result played out the way it did, we're just grateful that it wasn't the last game of the season, because that would certainly leave a bad taste in your mouth. We're anxious for the chance to go out to Dunham Field on Saturday and play a really tough Fort Lewis team. We know we're going to be in for a dogfight against them. We know it's going to be RMAC competition, which has been heated and very, very intense from the get-go. And we're just really grateful that we get the opportunity to go play again, because one thing about college football teams is they love to play, and this team loves to play. This team loves playing together, and we're anxious for the chance to, and it's not really redemption, so to speak, but to go put our best foot forward and show what we're capable of.
Hard Rockers at home this Saturday, 1:00 kickoff. Head coach joining us, Zach Tinker, South Dakota Mines 5-3, trying to get their 6th win on the year, trying to move to 6-3. They host Fort Lewis on Saturday. Fort Lewis, pistol offense. What is the challenge there? What's the challenge preparing for them?
Well, you start with defensively for us. We need to do a great job stopping the run. They are an outstanding running football team. They're going to start 7 seniors on offense. They've been in this pistol system, even though they had a head coaching change in the off season. They still have been in this offensive system for several years now. So they're a good running football team, a physical team. We need to do a great job of trying to force them to throw the ball a lot. That's really what our defense is designed to do, is stop the run and try to make a team into just a passing team if we can. That's going to be a huge challenge. And then furthermore, on offense, we got to do the things we normally do well, obviously protect the football. And I think if we just play with a ton of juice, that's really going to bode well in our favor. And that's what we're going to need to do on Saturday if we're going to have an opportunity to win.
South Dakota Mines at home, 1 o'clock again, O'Hara Stadium, trunk or treat day. It's Halloween weekend. Bring the kids. They get in free with their costume. Candy will be handed out in the ramps at O'Hara Stadium. Should be a fun atmosphere. Fort Lewis, South Dakota Mines. Hard Rockers trying to go to 6-3 under Zach Tinker. Coach, appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Outstanding. What are you going to be for Halloween, Nate? I mean, you're burying the lead here. What's going on?
I'm okay. I'll just leave that to my daughters, all right? I'm not going to be Bilbo Baggins or anything like that. I'll leave that to my daughters.
Sounds good, Nate. I appreciate your support of Hard Rocker football. We'll see everybody on Saturday. Rock on.
Look forward to it. Zach Tinker doing a nice job at South Dakota Mines. First-year head coach, was the offensive coordinator the last few years. Hard Rockers with the win Saturday, a big one against Fort Lewis coming up with the win. They'll be 6-3 with a couple of games left. A far cry from where they were essentially picked in the RMAC preseason poll. Hard Rockers trying to get back to their winning ways after a tough one against Chadron State. We'll see everybody out there at O'Hara Stadium on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Talking high school football, let's get into it with Ben Kramer, head coach of the Hot Springs Bison. They get St. Thomas More tomorrow. And a preview from Coach Kramer next.
Fall is in the air, and now is a great time to get into a pre-owned all-wheel drive vehicle with low rates and payments. Buy a 2015 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive for $296 a month. No money down, no payments for 90 days. Buy a 2015 Chevy Cruze for $199 a month. No money down, no payments for 90 days. The largest selection of certified and used vehicles in western South Dakota. Your new road starts here. Feel the difference at Rapid Chevrolet Cadillac. Exit 60 Rapid City or online at rapidchevrolet.com.
Dale's Tire and Retreading has been providing quality brands of tires and excellent service to the Black Hills area for over 50 years. Dale's Tires sells tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, agriculture, construction, and more. Dale's Tire has what you need when you need it and offers appointment times to get you in and out faster. See the experts at Dale's Tire and Retreading. 2 convenient locations in Rapid City, 691 Deadwood Avenue and 3200 Campbell Street. Dale's Tire and Retreading.
Real South Dakota sports talk for real South Dakota sports fans. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Looking for a winning team? Check out the Black Hills unbeatable tandem of Xerox and the color experts at Matheson's. Hit a home run with the Xerox Workcenter MFP today, and you'll be able to print, copy, and scan your crucial business documents and marketing materials just like the pros do. Matheson's cost per copy program is the safe play every time. You pay nothing up front for the equipment, and the high cost of supplies and repairs become a nightmare of the past. Visit the Matheson's team of Xerox All-Stars at 324 St. Joe Street, downtown Rapid City, or at mathesons.com.
Welcome back. Nate Brown with you. SD Sports Buzz Tonight, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Stores on East St. Patrick Street in Rapid City for the best prices on groceries in Rapid City. Get in and find out for yourself. Discounts throughout the store on name brand products. Save-A-Lot Food Stores, East St. Patrick Street here in Rapid City. SD Sports Buzz Tonight live on SDSportsBuzz.com. You can watch the stream from anywhere. And also here on 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, Rapid City's talk station. Talking football, high school playoffs get cranking tomorrow with 11A, 11AA, and 11 AAA. One of my focuses, I'm not totally dialed in, exclusively on 11A, but 11A is really interesting to me. I think it's probably the most intriguing class 1 through 8 here with the matchups. I really do. You look at this 2-7 matchup. St. Thomas More, the 2 seed, undefeated against Hot Springs, the 7 seed. They come in 7-2. I think these matchups are really interesting. Even T area hosting West Central. Don't think West Central is the West Central of old, but you never know. I mean, that might be competitive. I think you're going to be seeing some competitive games in 11A. And our focus is on this matchup at St. Thomas More tomorrow night, where the Cavaliers host Hot Springs, and the head coach of the Bison has done a great job down there for many years now. Head coach is Ben Kramer. He joins us courtesy the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, Nate?
I'm doing good. What's the feeling like, Coach? You've been in this for a long time, and you've got some great teams. You've had some great teams. You've had some great players. What's the season been like overall for you guys? You're 7-2. Where you want to be? Where you not? What you expected? What's the overall feeling getting ready for the playoffs?
It's been a little different for us. With the new playoff structure, the focus at the beginning of the season was to obviously get into the playoffs after missing out on a 6-3. We're in familiar territory. A lot of these seniors played in a couple semifinal games and missed out last year. So being back in the playoffs obviously is where we want to be and a familiar feeling for us.
What do you think about this 1 through 8? Some people aren't aware here. Normally it was a region game, and then it broke down into the seeding points. They go right away 1 through 8. Just so happens you're playing St. Thomas More. I don't know how that would have played out particularly, but what do you think of this 1 through 8 seeding style right away?
I don't know. We don't focus too much on where we could and couldn't be. We're just happy to be back in the playoffs, and we don't make the schedule. We weren't real happy about where we were seated with a 7-1 record, and now with a 7-2. There's just nothing we can do about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, now you have St. Thomas More, coach, a team you're familiar with. I want to talk about your guys though before we talk about St. Thomas More. It seems as though you've racked up some points in the game. You had a stretch there through the middle of the year. You're really rolling, and the strength of schedule wasn't great, I understand, but you really got it going there. 53, 48, 38, 50, 53, and you shut everybody down. A couple of games, just a couple. You get shut out by St. Thomas More, and you only score a touchdown against Spearfish. Have you pinpointed in those 2 losses what the deal was on the offensive side?
Oh, absolutely. We've pinpointed it, and I think we've fixed it. We've had a phenomenal week of practice. Friday, Saturday, we went out. I don't think there's many teams that went out and practiced on those 2 days. And, we knew exactly what we did wrong in both those games. And I think we've, addressed those concerns and then done the best we could with those.
I look at those 2 matchups. Do you feel like this football team was, you say you got some seniors here, you've got some guys, some leaders. Were they disappointed in, let's just go back to the last one, the Spearfish loss? I'm sure you as a coach felt like that's a team we could beat. What's the mentality coming out of there?
All the credit in the world to Spearfish. They played tough. That was a good ball club we played. But we were disappointed. I told the guys, I don't know if I've been this disappointed in you guys the whole season. And, they react to things like that. And they just got to get the mentality that they're better than these teams and come out and fix mistakes and go out and play football.
Ben Kramer on the program tonight. Hot Springs head coach. They're 7-2. They're the 7th seed in 11A. They have to play at St. Thomas More, who's undefeated. You've had St. Thomas More in the past. You've beaten St. Thomas More in the past. Now, St. Thomas More's had a little bit of the edge here. What's the message to the team going into this matchup? You're not playing a Del Rapids or a Sioux Falls Christian or somebody like that from back east. First-round matchup against somebody you know very, very well and a team that you've battled but had a tough time with recently. What's the message to your guys?
It's not a fear game. The kids aren't afraid of them. We just need to put things together. St. Thomas More is the kind of team that'll capitalize on any mistake you made or any mistake you make. And, we need to start doing that on the flip side and capitalize. They had a quick turnover. I think their first offensive play last game we played, the ball popped up in the air, and our D lineman grabbed it. And, anybody else probably could have made a juke or a jive and scored on that. But then we ended up punting with, I think it was a sack and a penalty that kind of put us back a little bit. Those are the type of opportunities you have to capitalize on when you're playing a team like that.
It seemed like St. Thomas More did. You talk about capitalizing. It seemed like early in that matchup, Coach, the last time you played them earlier in the year, they jumped on you early with a couple. I mean, it was early, and then you kind of settled down a little bit. You never quite were able to get back in it. What's the key there, starting fast?
Actually, we started pretty fast defensively. They put one on us. I think it was 7-0 at halftime. and then put a quick one on us in the third, and hit a couple pooch kicks on us. That's on me. We didn't go over that in practice. Things you're supposed to do on a pooch kick, fair catch or whatever. So the kids are ready for things like that, and that's the things we've told them is, those things aren't going to happen every week. They might have got those 2 against us last time. Let's just make sure that doesn't happen again this time.
Right.
And, clean that kind of stuff up and just be better prepared, as players and us as coaches need to be better prepared as well.
Couple of pooch kicks, couple of situations that sealed the deal in the 28-0 win. I'll let you run with this. Ben Kramer, head coach of 7-2 Hot Springs. They battle St. Thomas More tomorrow night here in Rapid City. What are you most happy with your guys going in right now? What are some of the things you really think you're going to be able to do well and you've been doing well?
They're extremely confident. They're confident going into tomorrow's game. They know that everybody on the planet has us as an underdog. Most media outlets have us losing the game already. So, we're going to build off that and motivate these kids with that.
I look forward to it. First round 11A matchup. It's Hot Springs, St. Thomas More, a game we've seen over the years, many, many years. Ben Kramer on the Hot Springs sidelines did a nice job. Coach, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thanks, Nate.
All right, Ben Kramer tonight, the Bison head coach, has put together a program that's been a great football program for many years. And Ben Kramer at the head, 7-2, taking on St. Thomas More, who's unbeaten. Tough matchup for Hot Springs, but here's what I will say. I expect Hot Springs to keep that one closer than earlier. They played week 3. Okay, it's been quite a while. Week 3, it was 28-0. Hot Springs couldn't get anything going on the offensive side. They really couldn't, and the Cavaliers were able to control that. I expect to see a little bit of different game tomorrow. I really do. Looking forward to see how that pans out. I still give St. Thomas More the edge. As I mentioned, it's tough not to. The Cavaliers have been really, really good. Fast, so aggressive defensively. They're so hard to move on against all that speed on defense, and rightfully so, speed on offense as well. Cubs are up 2-0, by the way. Little update, Major League Baseball, World Series. The Cubs are up 2-0. You'll see my energy level kind of get higher as that continues to go up. As the Cubs continue to score, my energy level here on the program and giving those updates will get higher as well. We come right back, talk to Rob Sales, head coach at Rapid City Central. The Cobblers beat the Raiders. We'll talk about that big win for Coach Sales. Now it's a matchup against Brandon Valley in the first round of the 11 AAA playoffs. Rob Sales breaks it down next on SD Sports Buzz tonight.
Listen to what Pro Auto Care customers have to say.
I go to Tom because he's there for me. I have 7 vehicles on the road on a daily basis, and I know that if something goes on, he'll fix it. He'll fix it right the first time, and if we have an issue with a part, he'll stand behind it. I mean, if we had a part fail that he installed, he'd get the new part and he would install it again, and I'd only pay for it once. Everybody that I know that needs work on their car, I say this is the only place I would go.
Pro Auto Care. Phone 342-0857, 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City.
Each South Dakota farmer operates differently, and that means that ag insurance should be as unique as every farmer in the field. Fisher Rounds & Associates gets to know you and your operation before we find a policy. That way, we can make sure you have the coverage you need. Contact Fisher Rounds & Associates and see what it means to have us at your service and at your side. Fisher Rounds & Associates, serving South Dakota farmers with offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz tonight, rolling through the program this Wednesday night on the eve of the high school football playoff matchups tomorrow in 11A, AA, and AAA. It's Nate Brown on SD Sports Buzz tonight, presented by Save-A-Lot Food Stores on East St. Patrick Street in Rapid City. Here on 106.7 FM Kim Talk Radio. I'm glad to have you on board watching the live stream, sdsportsbuzz.com, where you can do that. Also, all the interviews from tonight's show, all the coaches are posted at sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow. So if you miss any preview of the matchups that we have here, the high school football matchups, the Hard Rocker head coach Zach Tinker was on earlier, previewing a big game this week for the Hard Rockers trying to move to 6-3. If you miss any of the interviews tonight, Go to sdsportsbuzz.com. Tomorrow, all the interviews are archived right there. Speaking of the 11 AAA playoffs, Central goes on the road to take on Brandon Valley. The Cobblers come off of a big win over Rapid City Stevens, and now the 6th seed taking on Brandon Valley. Head coach at Rapid City Central is Rob Sales on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
I'm doing quite well, man. Just excited for tomorrow.
You're ready to go, make the long trip out to Brandon. You got to love the energy that you guys had to come off with after the Stevens win. Give me your emotion there. You've been trying to get this program going, trying to get things cranking here. What was the emotion there after the win over Stevens?
You know, it was huge. This year, and we had talked about it last week, that win itself does quite a few things for us. You know, first of all, it kind of springboards some of the things that we've really been doing and trying to grind into the kids here at the school about what we have to do to win as a football program. And we got to get those kids interested that maybe walked away from the program or stopped playing when they got to high school. How do you get those kids back in and interested in playing? So that helps right there. You know, since I got here, we were sitting 0-2 against Stevens in that dang game, and we lost a heartbreaker my first year, you know, field goal at the end of the game. Last year, they kind of whooped us a little bit, so, you know, we really needed a little bit of, I don't want to call it revenge, but for lack of a better term, revenge on them, you know, it'd be nice. And then thirdly, it really helps us with what we wanted to do going into the playoffs. You know, you're sitting at 7, but do you drop to 8? You don't want to be that 7 and 8 slot. You want to get out of that and have a shot at some things, you know, and that really helped us out with that win.
I look at it, that game over Stevens. It was tight. I mean, it was a tight football game. You end up winning at 26-23. What did you feel was the difference in the game for you?
The difference in the game for us was just our defense. Our defense came through huge. You know, we had a couple fourth down stops. We had a goal line stop. I mean, we did some things that were just really huge for the outcome of the game. You know, we had an interception. Jordan Latson had that pick six that's going into halftime. I mean, that just catapulted our kids' confidence going into halftime. They knew if we just keep going, we got it. We just got to keep going. You know, instead of going down halftime 9-0, you go into halftime 9-6, and that's a ball game. You know, you don't have that goose egg on the scoreboard, and you just had a huge momentum swing.
I look at a game like that, it puts you in the 6th spot now. You get in the 6th spot, you still have a tough matchup there. I mean, there's not going to be an easy matchup in AAA when you're down on that side of it. I look at this game, though, when you look at Brandon Valley, that's a team you played here, and it was a tough go, 41-10. They've kind of really gotten things going. Early on, they were a little sluggish maybe in their first part of the year. They've really gotten things to go. What did you see from Brandon Valley in that first matchup here that you're getting ready for?
Well, you know, the scoreboard shows that we got thumped pretty solid. And they did. They physically ended up beating us at the end of the game, and it gave them quite a few scores. You look on early in that game, we had a score called back. We had a field goal blocked. So there's 10 points off the scoreboard right there. You know, we had huge penalties, which was our curse at the beginning of the year, and we gave them quite a few short fields. And when you got a team like that can perform and that have been winning, you cannot give a team that. You know, short fields, mess ups, first downs off the board, situations where instead of, you know, 2nd and 3, now it's 1st and 15. You know, things like that. When you're going against a talented, well-coached team, that just kills you. And the scoreboard, in my opinion, isn't a true representation of what the game was like. I thought we had quite a few opportunities that we just didn't capitalize on, and we shot ourselves in the foot quite a few times. but taking nothing away from them. They're a great team. They got a lot of talent on there, and they're well coached. And it's a 6 versus a 3, but I'll take that 3.
Hey, I've got people out in Sioux Falls saying, okay, let's just lock it in here. It's Washington will win here. O'Gorman's going to win. Obviously, Roosevelt will win, and then Brandon Valley. You just lock it in. It's going to be a pretty good semifinal matchup there. And I had people say that here tonight. When you hear that, it's probably not a surprise. You know, people aren't giving you a big time shot here. You're a fiery guy, a motivator. Is that a message you send to the guys tomorrow? Is nobody's giving us a shot here, and I mean nobody.
Well, kind of a message that we have kind of been talking to those boys about all year and the last couple of years, matter of fact, is nobody's going to give you respect because you haven't done anything to earn it. So it's kind of that same message, They don't need to respect you for coming out there. They kind of see it as a nice little keep you fresh, keep you sharp type game and just a glorified practice, I guess you could call it. But my question to the boys is, are you going to just kind of take that? Or are you going to use this opportunity as a chance to get better? Because the reason you play sports is every time you go out there and compete, you never know. You don't know who's going to win. You don't know who's going to lose. It's about the team that's going to show up and play the hardest for 48 minutes. And, they don't want to give us any little prop or anything. That's fine. That's fine if you don't want to, because I'm going to show up for 48 minutes and we're going to play our butts off. And so, win or lose, you can't take anything away from a boy that's willing to work that hard and lay it out on the line for 48 minutes. I'll take my boys over there and we'll play our butts off and we'll see who comes up on top.
Here's the deal in football, and you know it, Coach, is sometimes physically you just don't quite match up. And we've seen that. You've seen it. Sometimes physically in football we just don't quite match up. I look at your guys in certain spots this year, in certain spots, especially up front there. You got some guys that are physical. You have some big guys up front. It seems like that can match up with some of the size. Is that kind of the thing that allows you to, hey, if we do certain things at the skill spots, if we take care of the ball, we're going to be able to match up physically up front a little bit?
Exactly right. We kind of did the numbers game with them because they're always, it's almost like a brainwash, when they get to high school. The Sioux Falls is so good, they're so big, they got these huge guys, blah. Yeah, they got some big, talented kids. They got some good players out there. But you know what? Let's look at our O-line. Let's look at our D-line. Let's look at our size, guys. They aren't that much bigger than us if they are bigger than us. Where they have it is they might have 4 guys that size, and we have 2 guys that size.
Right.
But that goes back to that's why you play the game. Who's going to play the hardest, the longest on Friday, and in this case, Thursday night? It don't matter how big he is. They got those cliches, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, about the size of the fight in the dog, not the dog in the fight, things like that. I'll take 11 Rudies against 11 big dude, all-star kids, and let's see what happens,
By the way, Coach, you've got a matchup here against Brandon Valley. It's going to be so key for you to take care of the ball, limit the mistakes. It always is, but it seems like some games have gotten away from you and gotten a little bit out of control with your mistakes, and that's a key. But what about Brandon Valley is tough? They've been pretty solid over the past few years here, throwing it around, good quarterback play. Well, what's solid about Brandon Valley you got to be ready for?
Well, their quarterback and their wideouts are top-notch. They got some big, tall kids that are very athletic. They work well in space, and they'll go catch that football. We might get a little pressure, and that throw might be off a little bit, but your coverage better be on point also because they'll just go get the ball. We're a little shorter at the corner spot, so we got to make sure we are robbing the pocket, So we'll climb the big old dudes out there going for that high ball and see if we can go get it. I think part of the reason they might have started off a little sluggish at the beginning of the year is it kind of looked like some of that game film, they were maybe had a little bit change of philosophy. They were going away from some of that slinging it around and moving around and spreading it out and wanted to just run the ball a little bit. I think they've kind of balanced that out a little bit and not so one end of the spectrum or the other, but they got a pretty good balance, and now they're really hitting on all cylinders. I mean, they're a solid team. They got a lot of talent. We'll have to contain that and definitely keep our mistakes to a minimum and not turn the ball over, like you said.
Rapid City Central leaving bright and early tomorrow, getting set for Brandon Valley, first round of the 11 AAA playoffs. Cobblers, 3 wins this year under head coach Rob Sales, trying to get an upset tomorrow night. Coach, I appreciate it. Thanks.
Hey, thank you.
All right, Rob Sales tonight giving us some time. Appreciate it. Head coach of the Cobblers. A win over Rapid City Stevens put him in place now to be the 6th seed and play at Brandon Valley. Tough duty. I mean, it really is. Stevens is at Washington. Even a tougher duty there for the Raiders, no doubt. We come right back with St. Thomas More head coach Wayne Sullivan. The Cavaliers are at home against Hot Springs. We'll get the perspective of the coach of the Cavaliers, Wayne Sullivan, next.
And 200, 2 1/4, 2 to the bid, 20 bomb, VP, money get 200 VP here, no 75, 275 now, 3. Hi, folks, Kevin McPherson Auction Company. We can turn your property to cash. We can sell your personal property and your real estate at auction. A family business for 64 years and counting. We've sold several millions of dollars in property over the years. We're happy to consult with you on your auction plans. Let our selling experience work for you. Call McPherson Auction, 605-348-1369. Visit us on our web at McPhersonAuction.com. Sold it here for $575.
How would you like to have your crown in 2 hours instead of 2 visits? Hi, this is Dr. Eldon Rice with Rice Area Dental in Rapid City. Technology is changing, and at Rice Area Dental, we are keeping up by using the latest state-of-the-art equipment. We offer crowns in hours instead of days. No more temporaries, no more multiple visits, no messy dental impressions, just same-day restorations.
Call us at 342-RICE. That's 342-7423. Dr. Rice Area Dental on Canyon Lake Drive, the dentist that makes you smile.
You're listening to SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Hi, this is Kevin from Mel's Auto Body. In all my commercials, you will always hear quality and service first. 30 years ago, when my father Mel opened the doors, those were the words that he believed in, and those are the same words that we believe in today. At Mel's Auto Body, we take pride in your investment. We did then, and we still do today. Mel's Auto Body at 1755 South Valley Drive.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Your local Farm Bureau Financial Services agent Tom Berger in Rapid City realizes that farming and ranching is your livelihood, and he understands that. After all, the companies of Farm Bureau Financial Services were originally founded to serve the unique insurance and financial services needs of farmers and ranchers. Contact Farm Bureau agent Tom Berger in Rapid City to learn how he can make it simple to help you select the coverage that's right for you today and provide options for the future of your growing operation.
Call me, Tom Berger, your Farm Bureau agent in Rapid City, at 348-3470.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
And welcome back to South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live and local, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio. It is SD Sports Buzz tonight, here with Nate Brown. Glad to have you on board. Exciting time of year. High school football playoffs cranking. 11A, AA, AAA get started tomorrow night. We're also going to be posting all the interviews from tonight's show. All the coaches interviewed here tonight will be posted at sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow. You can get your pregame preview there. If you missed anybody live tonight, earlier we had Ben Kramer, head coach at Hot Springs, as they play at St. Thomas More tomorrow night. And on the other side of that, is the Cavalier head coach, and he joins us again, Wayne Sullivan, on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
Doing fantastic.
You're excited, Coach. I know you always are. Are you really as excited now, this many years into this, for high school football playoff first round as you were in year one?
Oh, definitely. That's one of the things I've always told my beautiful wife. If I don't have this feeling in my gut when it comes around, just even the beginning of football or during football, then I know it's time to get out. But I still have that feeling. It's one, you can't sleep, you're nervous, you're making sure you try and have everything ready, put in, have your boys ready. It's an exciting feeling.
What's the thought like with this 11A scenario? First year we've had this here where they go 1 through 8 seeded right away. You're sitting pretty healthy there with a 2 seed. You're at home all the way through if you can make it to the Dome. So you're sitting good. You're 9-0. Just wondering what your thoughts are on the seeding right away.
Well, I like it. I like how they changed the PowerPoints with your schedule and how the winning teams and what they do. So it makes it, your schedule is very important. And as evident what you said earlier with Douglas hosting a playoff game, Spearfish hosting a playoff game, and again coming in with Hot Springs, who finished 7-2 on the season. Those are good things, and I like how the seeding goes. And if you earn the 1 or 2 spot, then obviously you're doing good things.
No doubt. You've had a great year. I want to look at this season right here. You're 9-0. You had a similar scenario here where you were feeling good and getting ready for a playoff game against Lennox last year, and things went awry. What's your emotion, your feeling like right now with this year's team? What does this year's team feel like? A Dome State Championship team?
Well, again, it's one game at a time. And since you brought up last year, which, again, we have all week, it's the part of the season where you're one and done. You got to be focused. You can't overlook. You cannot look anywhere past the next 48 minutes. And that's one of our big things we've hit on the practice this week. Hot Springs is coming in, a very good team. And Coach Kramer does a phenomenal job. And so right now our focus is, if we're going to get to our second goal of the year, which is always to get to a state championship, we got to take care of everything week to week, and this is the most important game of the season right here.
Is it harder to play somebody that you've already played, not only this year, but you play Hot Springs? You and Coach Kramer have been going at it for a long time now, and he knows certain secrets. You know certain secrets. Is it harder to have that matchup in the first game?
Well, some say it is because it's tough to play the same team again, and especially after you have a victory. But I'm going to tell you right now, Coach Kramer is probably one of the best coaches at making adjustments, putting things in that he saw, that he knows his team has to work on. So like I told our boys, this is going to be a totally different Hot Springs team we see tomorrow. They are going to come focused. And again, same thing on the other side. They want to win a state title. They're going to come and play their hearts out. It's going to be who does execute, who does the little things, who gets out of their game plan. And so our thing is we got to stick to what we do. We got to do it right and with our hair on fire.
St. Thomas More head coach Wayne Sullivan on tonight. Cavaliers are 9-0. They're getting set to host Hot Springs tomorrow in the first round of the 11A football playoffs. St. Thomas More, rolled through the season, Coach. You rolled through it. You really did. You beat Hot Springs 28-0. You just referenced it. Coach Kramer says, we've pinpointed what we did wrong there. We pinpointed what we struggled with. We've got that fixed. We put in extra time this week. We're not scared of St. Thomas More at all. Is there a little bit of feeling from your side that everybody's still gunning for you? You're still the team to beat out here?
Well, again, that's what we want. We worked very, very hard in our program to get to where we want to be one of the top dogs. And in order to do that, you've got to be focused, and that everybody's going to give you their best game. And I tell you what, everybody we played this year, they gave us their best game. So I feel very good about our boys being ready and being focused. And again, I think being snake bit last year, that taste in their mouth, that pain that I reminded them all week, remember how you felt Friday morning? We don't want that feeling. And I'm telling you right now, Hot Springs wants to come in here, and that would make their entire year. So as far as coming out tomorrow, I think our boys going to be very focused. and it will start with our Mass at 7 a.m. as a team and what we do throughout the day. And I think, with a good week of practice, which I'm very glad that we had, we're pretty focused right now.
I'll let you run with this. X's and O's wise, it looks like you've defensively done a lot of good things, a lot of speed, a lot of different things on defense that you've really shut teams down. How have you been able to shut teams down even more this year than maybe even in past years?
Well, again, I stated earlier with Coach Nowotny changing a couple things on defense and really, really focused on stopping the run. And, not a lot of high school teams throw a lot. There are a few exceptions, of course, but I tell you what, if we could stop the run and make teams throw who normally don't, then we've got them on the ropes. We've got them on their heels. And then what that forces people to do, too, is to get out of their game plan. If they want to come out tomorrow, go 4 or 5 wide, try and throw it, that's great. That's got to get them out of their game plan and what they did all year. So those are the things defensively we want to make sure. And, again, I know he's going to make some adjustments, Coach Kramer. But, again, he's got a couple studs with Majeski and Harkless. I know they're going to run. I know they're going to get the ball in their hands. So our whole thing is, do your job, control your gap. When you get there, finish. And that's what this defense has done all year. They communicate well, probably one of the best communicating defenses we've had. And so those are the things that have put themselves in the right spot. And our coaching staff's done a wonderful job on making sure every position knows where they have to be.
Coach, we're used to seeing Hot Springs run it, like you said, the Harkless boys. There's been a whole crew of them. They've done a nice job. And over the years, going all the way back, Cameron Weiss and Joe Beeler, all the way back, running. This Hot Springs quarterback, to me, has some experience, can throw. What do you think of their throwing ability?
Well, I tell you what, we're going to see a big dose of Noctegal tomorrow. I think they're going to run him a lot. I think I told our team I wouldn't be surprised if he runs the ball 15 times. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 4 wide and he tries to get the ball out. Those are some of the things that I think they're going to have to do in order to, do what they want. So I do see that. I think that's something we're expecting. And he's a heck of an athlete. He has, a couple years of being a starter under his belt. And he's just as hungry as, our guy, Preston Arity, who, again, Preston has improved every single week. I think offensively, our offensive line has gelled. Again, it was a completely new offensive line this year, and now they got 9 games under their belt. So I think, what we see tomorrow from Noctegal, we're going to have to defend, and we're going to have to defend it well.
I'll tell you what, St. Thomas More on the path. They have home field all the way if they can continue to advance until they go to the Dome, potentially. Cavaliers 9-0 against Hot Springs. St. Thomas More head coach Wayne Sullivan. Always appreciate it, Coach. Thanks.
I appreciate it, Nate. I'm very excited for tomorrow, and I pray to God I'm talking to you next week.
All right. Wayne Sullivan, good to talk to him. Always appreciate his time. He's done a heck of a job at St. Thomas More. They're right back there at 9-0. And I have to remember here what, everybody expected St. Thomas More to be good again. But when you really broke it down, and if you followed high school football pretty closely here, as I have over the past decade or more, you look at it, you really break it down. St. Thomas More lost a lot of guys up front the last couple of years. They've lost some key guys the last couple of years up front. They just continue to fill the quarterback spot. Matthew Eastmo had a great couple of years. Then Preston Arity steps in. He's had a great couple of years. But when you look at it from year to year, they seem like, well, okay, maybe this year they're just not quite going to be as good as they were. And that's kind of what the thought was. Well, lost a lot of guys up front again, lost a lot of starters on the O-line, the D-line. Well, I don't know. They're just not going to be big enough. They're not going to be able to do that. And here they are, 9-0, 2 seed, ready to go as the playoffs kick off tomorrow. We'll come right back, talk to Coach Dan Maciejczak. Douglas is hosting Pierre That's a really interesting game tomorrow night. Coach Magic talks about it next.
Make the mountains your backyard. Make the lake your pool and the night sky your high-definition television. Stop by Dakota Discount RVs today and take a look at our wide variety of new and used fifth wheels, travel trailers, toy haulers, and more. We're sure you'll find something you love at a price you can afford. We take pride in our integrity and service long after the deal, so why pay more for good memories when you can buy with a comfortable, low-pressure, locally owned and operated RV dealer? At Dakota Discount RV, we can make your dreams come true at an affordable price.
3330 East Mall Drive, Rapid City. Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Fall is in the air, and now is a great time to get into a pre-owned all-wheel drive vehicle with low rates and payments. Buy a 2015 Chevy Equinox all-wheel drive for $296 a month. No money down, no payments for 90 days. Buy a 2015 Chevy Cruze for $199 a month. No money down, no payments for 90 days. The largest selection of certified and used vehicles in western South Dakota. Your new road starts here. Feel the difference at Rapid Chevrolet Cadillac. Exit 60 Rapid City or online at rapidchevrolet.com.
And welcome back, Nate Brown on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Glad to have you on board. Always excited this time of year. I really am. Jacked and ready to go. High school football playoffs tomorrow night, 11A, AA, and AAA. We've covered the gamut. We've been in AAA. We've been in A. And a matchup we have to talk about is tomorrow night in 11AA. Douglas hosting Pierre. Head coach for the Patriots is Dan Machacek. He's on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are you?
Oh, not too shabby. How are you this evening?
I'm doing good. I want to get your take on hosting another playoff game, Coach. I mean, this is becoming old hat here, and not a lot of people would say that or would think that this Douglas team this year is not going to be able to host a game. Have you surpassed expectations, do you think?
Well, I think we have from what, as a coaching staff where we thought we were. We've lost a lot of good football players for the last couple seasons, but if you'd have told me in the beginning of the season that we would have been able to beat teams like Brookings and Yankton and get ourselves 4 wins out of the season, I probably would have taken that bet against you. But, for our kids, they always believed, and we go out as a coaching staff and we try to prepare them to fight every week. I mean, we're not the biggest football team, and I don't think we're ever going to be, but we got a lot of heart, and kids are starting to believe in what we do, and it's showing on the field.
Here's the deal, though. You got a football team. Sometimes, I was just talking to Rob Sales over at Central about this. Sometimes you just get outmatched, and that happens. I mean, we've seen that happen even with your guys a little bit, but I've seen it this year. Even though you don't have a lot of great size, you got some younger guys. It seems like you've been in a lot of games that maybe people wouldn't even expect you to be in. You were competitive with St. Thomas More throughout. Why do you think these guys have been able to do that?
I think they've been around the idea that, I think a few years ago, 3 years ago, when we lost that playoff game to Pierre, we had kind of a lighter schedule, more of a heavier Class A team. That was a year that I think we got to play Huron, was the only AA team besides Spearfish and Sturgis. So, I mean, you look at our schedule now, and we get the privilege of playing Harrisburg and Yankton and Brookings, and then we keep our Spearfish and Sturgis and all our Black Hills Conference rivals. But I think our kids kind of understand that it's a given. We're going to be undersized, and it's a given that they're going to have 60 guys on the sidelines. We're going to have 30. So I don't think it's really the scare factor anymore, the big eyes type of scenario. So I think our kids kind of put that to the side, and they play with a chip on their shoulder, that's for sure.
And you like that, though. That's what I was just going to say. You guys play with a chip on your shoulder. That seems like what you like.
I do, and I kind of, I always explain to my kids, I try to give them life lessons about myself and things that I've seen. And, from where I come from, playing football here and then playing at Chadron State, I've always been part of a organization where we've prided ourselves on being lesser and getting more production than what people ever think. So we like being the underdog. I kind of like where we are right now. I mean, we're a team that's flying underneath the radar. I think people think we've been lucky a few times, and I'm not going to argue with that, but our kids will come out and play hard. I mean, we play with the biggest heart, I've seen so far, and we fly around and we'll hit you in the face. We're not scared to be physical, and we are undersized, so I think it's kind of to our favor and the belief when you look at us, when you're a AA football team and you come out here, that you're just going to come out and manhandle us, and our kids just, they're going to fight, bite, scratch, whatever they got to do to make that play.
Pierre is your opponent. You look at this matchup. You haven't played them. They have been all over the map, losing to Yankton by 1, beating Huron in OT. That was a nice win. And, beating Aberdeen Central, AAA team. I mean, they've just been all over the map. What's Pierre like here?
I don't know. They have a new head coach. I think they're kind of, in a different scenario, but the same thing. I think they're still trying to find their identity a little bit, but I think they're a very powerful football team, and they have a lot of great weapons, and they can, offensively, they'll stretch the field. They can throw the ball deep. They're a big football team up front, and, they're a pretty physical football team from what you see on film. So it should be an interesting matchup for us.
Pierre put up 41 points against Sioux Falls, Washington here. I mean, I said they've been all over the map, but they lost, but they put up 41 against Washington. What are you going to have to do tomorrow, Coach? What do you got to be executing?
Well, I think first and foremost, we got to go out and we got to be physical and we got to be us. And, we're going to be undersized, so we're going to have to fly around the football for 4 quarters, and we can't use the word tired. I mean, we've run with probably about 17 kids, so we're going to have to do a great job of shuffling in and out. And, defensively, we're going to have to stop their big play. They have a couple kids that can stretch the field. Their quarterback can sure sling the ball, so we can't let that kill us, but at the same time, we're going to have to make sure we take care of run.
How big is it to be at home for you? How big is that?
It's huge. The atmosphere here, at Douglas, we've been getting our culture back to, I think it was in the 80s and 90s, where the kids are excited. The community is excited to support our football team. We've painted up our field real nice. I'm just getting ready to finish that one up. And the talk of everywhere I go, people are excited that we get to host a playoff game. And it is a big deal. When you look at Douglas High School, 1990, we hosted a AA playoff game. Was when I was a senior in high school. Tell me how old I was. So we hosted Rapid City Stevens, and we lost. And then 2 years ago, we hosted Pierre, and I thought we should have won that game, but I think we kind of had the big eyes and lost. And this is our second time in 3 years that we get the opportunity to host a playoff game. So I don't think these kids are scared to go out and give everything they got. And, let it lay where it may, but I guarantee one thing is win or lose, our kids are going to come out and they're going to play physical football.
I'll look forward to it. I got my eye on it. It'll be an interesting matchup. Which Pierre team shows up? And Douglas playing well right now. The Patriots under head coach Dan Machachek. They host Pierre tomorrow night out there at Box Elder. Coach, I appreciate it. Good luck.
Thank you, and we appreciate you covering us.
You bet. Appreciate it. Look forward to it. I've got my eye on that. Coach Magic and the Patriots at home against Pierre. That's an interesting one. And I'm telling you, if Douglas wins that, they could potentially have a matchup there against Mitchell is what it looks like. If that's how things pan out, basically. And you just never know. Mitchell's been really, really good, but you just never know. Douglas was right in the game for a long time against a really good Harrisburg team just a couple of weeks ago. Keep your eye on Douglas. Can they get the win at home tomorrow night over Pierre? That would be huge for the program. Let's come back and talk to Winter head coach Dan Aker. Tragedy in the Winter program. They continue to, rally behind that, come together around that. Really, really tough season for Winter as far as that goes on the emotion side. Winter trying to come together, trying to stay on track and be the dominant team they have been. They are off to a good start. The Warriors advance in the 11B playoffs. A guy I like talking to has done a great job trying to win another state championship. We'll talk about it all with Dan Aker, head coach of Winter. He joins me live next.
Dale's Tire and Retreading has been providing quality brands of tires and excellent service to the Black Hills area for over 50 years. Dale's Tires sells tires for cars, trucks, SUVs, agriculture, construction, and more. Dale's Tire has what you need when you need it and offers appointment times to get you in and out faster. See the experts at Dale's Tire and Retreading. 2 convenient locations in Rapid City, 691 Deadwood Avenue and 3200 Campbell Street. Dale's Tire and Retreading.
Looking for a winning team? Check out the Black Hills Unbeatable Tandem of Xerox and the color experts at Matheson's. Hit a home run with the Xerox Workcenter MFP today, and you'll be able to print, copy, and scan your crucial business documents and marketing materials just like the pros do. Matheson's cost per copy program is the safe play every time. You pay nothing up front for the equipment, and the high cost of supplies and repairs become a nightmare of the past. Visit the Matheson's team of Xerox All-Stars at 324 St. Joe Street, downtown Rapid City, or at Mathesons.com.
The reason I go to Pro Auto Care is they're always good to me. They've been my mechanics for 6 years. I take it in on a regular basis for the oil changes, things like that. If they find something else wrong with it, they let you know, hey, you're going to need this done, or you might want to consider doing this. It's not oh, you need this done now. It's usually you can plan for it. They are the best. Wouldn't trust anybody with my vehicles but Pro Auto Care.
Pro Auto Care. Phone 342-0857, 1891 Rand Road, Rapid City. Getting you inside South Dakota sports. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown on Kim Radio. Talk that matters.
Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body. Get a drive-through estimate or come on in. We're right here under the big red M. Over 30 years our family has put quality and service first. We take pride in making sure you're satisfied. Quality and service first. Mel's Auto Body.
Insurance. We all need it to protect our homes, health, businesses, and belongings. But having adequate coverage is just the beginning. You also need the support of professionals who stand by your side to protect what's important to you. Fisher Rounds & Associates combines the coverage you want with the commitment you need. Fisher Rounds & Associates. At your service, at your side. With offices in Pierre, Mitchell, Watertown, Sioux Falls, and Rapid City.
In Rapid City, you've got a friend in real estate. Hi, I'm Ellen Roach. When buying or selling your home or property, Will Dixon is the man to see.
Will invites you to experience the Keller Williams culture. Whether you're buying or selling, he can assist you through the entire process with a free market analysis and advise you on all your options. Will handles all phases of real estate and has built a track record for success. Call Will Dixon at Keller Williams Black Hills, 390-1140, and let him be your friend in real estate.
And we're back on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Nate Brown live, 106.7 FM, Kim Talk Radio, and online streaming at sdsportsbuzz.com. We're talking high school football playoffs, and, of course, you can't talk playoffs without talking Winter Warrior football. I've been following this program for a long time. Just love the matchups over the years with St. Thomas More, and Winter's been so successful, and they continue to be that. A dominant season for the Warriors as they get set for a matchup coming up. They already advanced in the first round, hammering Parkston in a shutout, and now getting set for a Monday night Halloween matchup against Tri-Valley in the quarterfinals. Winter head coach, they're undefeated. Head coach is Dan Aker. He joins me on the Mel's Auto Body Sports Line. Coach, how are things in Winter tonight?
Pretty good. How are you doing, Nate?
I'm doing well. I want to first start by saying, if people haven't followed this, if people haven't looked at this, tragedy in your program, real tragedy here. It isn't about football. It's not about school. It's not all those lessons. It's, lessons in life here. Tragedy, 16-year-old player and student at Winter, Taylor Watzel, passing away, tragic accident. I want to just find out, amongst the school, you're a leader at the school, you're a leader in the community, you're a leader in the football program. What's this been like?
It's been really tough. It's been a tough week. It's obviously from a football coach standpoint, really hard for on a team when you lose one of your brothers like that. But it goes deeper than that. Definitely rocked the school and our students, and our staff, community, and then obviously the Watzel family is just very tough. And I think that we're making our way through it. I think there's a strong community support. I think we got strong kids, maybe stronger than we probably give them credit for, but we really had to hang together and do the best we can to be there for the Watzel family. You know, Tristan's still senior on our team, an older brother, so definitely need to be there for him. But yeah, it's been a rough week, and you know, we're doing the best we can.
A tragedy, no doubt. And, you know, we talk sports on this program. It seems minuscule. It really is in the big picture about all the things I've talked to you about over the years and all the things you do so well out there in the winter program. But I have to point out a program that you run like that, and it seems like you guys have been a tight-knit group, and you've told me, you know, this year's team really, really close again. That has to help in certain scenarios like this.
Yeah, I think that it does, and we're probably even tighter now because of it. That's probably one, you know, the things that we had as a team going is the 50 other guys that we could lean on, and that certainly helps and brought them closer and put a lot of things in perspective. As you mentioned, we are just playing a game, and there's a lot of positives that come out of playing athletics and competing, but the bond is probably one of the biggest things, and that's probably strengthened a little bit. I think we've probably been fortunate to be able to get out and practice, get out and play a couple games even, just to, you know, clear our minds, so to speak, and get away from it, and that's probably been a benefit too. But definitely put a lot of things in perspective. It's something that, you know, our guys hope they never experience again, but, you know, it's life's a learning experience, and you just take it as you go, and you learn from it, and you're going to have losses, and this was definitely a tough one, and you just try to be strong, and like I said before, more importantly, try to be supportive of the Watzel family, and because they're the ones that are dealing with it the most.
Right. Couldn't say it better. Prayers go out to the Watzel family. Taylor Watzel, 16-year-old, passed away in a farming accident there in winter, part of the Winter Warrior football program. As the coach of the team, how did you get your guys? You know, you got a playoff game here. You just got done with. How do you try and you know, what's the message there? Because you're trying to play this out, honor Taylor, honor his brother, trying to make sure that you do the right thing. But it's probably hard to get ready.
Yeah, you know, and then our first game was actually the night after Taylor passed, and that was the hardest, I think. You try to remember, and you know, it really comes down to, I think, is a team and a player, and even as a coach, and it's about doing everything right, which we already expect to do, but you know, it adds a little bit to that. I think that you learn that life is short. You're privileged to play in a game like this, and we talk about that a lot, but probably a lot more now, and even make it more real, I guess, that you want to give it your all in everything you do, and there's no reason not to do that, because, as I said before, you're privileged to be playing. Give the game the respect it deserves, but that's how you should live your life, and that's the skills you're learning playing football or playing any game or competing and the things that you're doing. So we try to focus on that, and we knew Taylor was with us. He's going to be with us, and it adds, you know, something else to probably to play for. But there's a kind of a fine balance there. You know, you don't want to let the emotions take over, and it's been pretty emotional. But I give our guys a ton of credit. They played really two solid games, and you know, to overcome a lot of that emotion and the heavy hearts and clouded minds, it wasn't easy, but I think a big part of it was doing it together. And as I said before, being a true team and leaning on each other and being there for each other. And, you know, you talk about that a lot, too, that play for each other. And I think we did that. And then I think it's probably made us even tighter than we were, and we needed that. We really did. We needed to be there for each other, and I really commend our guys for showing that toughness.
Winter is undefeated, going through a tough time right now internally with a tragedy and trying to continue a playoff run. Let's talk about that, Coach, the playoff run. You guys are really, really good. I mean, that's no doubt. You've had a great year, a lot of great players. You have Tri-Valley up next. Is it something that you've talked about, dedicating this season, this run to Taylor and his family?
Yeah, I think that's added to it. I think our guys would. There's a lot of things that we're always going to be there. A lot of T-shirts with 66 and stickers on the helmet, and I don't know if we really necessarily talk about it. I know they're playing for Taylor, and which they should, and people play for different reasons. I think that number one, we always talk about you need to play for yourself first, and it needs to be important to you. But you play for your family and then things like that too, and so that adds to it, and maybe a little extra motivation. And that's kind of the way you kind of got to try to move forward with that. And I think we're doing a pretty good job so far, and it's a process, and but he's definitely missed. He's never going to be forgotten, and we know that he's with us, so it just adds a little extra incentive, I think, for the way we want to go out and compete and play football.
As you transition, put any energy into the matchup now against Tri-Valley. Want to go out and continue your winning ways. Tri-Valley here, Coach, is a team that got you. If I look at it, I don't have in front of me, a couple of years ago or 3 years ago, somewhere there in the playoffs. It wasn't, I'm not talking about the Hail Mary and everything back in the Dome. I don't want to bring up that bad memory, but for on that side of it. But I want to talk about Tri-Valley got you in a surprise game early in the playoffs just a few years ago. This Tri-Valley team, I think, is one of those one of those programs that's been very good over the years. What do you see on Monday?
Well, they are very good. I'll correct you there, though. Bonham's the one team that got it.
Oh, is that right? Okay, that's right. You're right. You're right.
We've had four really. I should say we played them 4 times in the playoffs starting in 2009. 3 of those games have been in the state championship. So obviously that tells you what kind of program they have. They're a true program. They're in it every year. Extremely well coached. They do the fundamentals right. 3 years ago, we actually played them in the second round, and that was a nail biter too. Our first 3 times we played them in 2009, 2012, and 2014 came essentially down to the last play on each of those games, and we were fortunate to pull all those out. 2 of them being for state championships. Last year in the state championship game, we got them pretty good and played really well. But you're correct. Anytime you see a team that is fundamentally sound and well coached and has tradition and knows how to play at this stage of the game, that's going to be a tough matchup. Just like going in last year, you can't ever look at records at this stage of the game, and they lost to 4 11A schools per force, solid 11A schools, and they played pretty well here the last 3 weeks, even though 2 of them were close losses to West Central and Sioux Falls Christian. But they played really well last night against McCook Central, and they bring a lot of things to the table. The one scary part is Landon Freeman's one of the best playmakers I've seen just watching on film. He's quick, he's fast. I don't know how many all-purpose yards he's got this year, but it's a lot. I mean, he's returning punts, he's returning kicks, he's receiving, he's running. He's going to have to be a big focus for us defensively. We can't give up the big play against them. And then the other thing we've always had trouble with, I think, from a defensive side, has been their fullback play, either through just straight dive or trap. And and we've been pretty solid on the line, and they're really quick and it hits really fast. And so I think defensively, those are the 2 big focuses. In order for us to shut them down, we have to have those two things take place.
Coach,
and then, go ahead.
Oh, well, I know football's year by year, right? I mean, every program is year by year, but I think there's something to it with Tri-Valley's success over the years, or your success, for example, or St. Thomas More, whoever, the teams that have success, whether it's year by year, do you think that makes a difference playing a Tri-Valley team, a program that's had a history of success? Does that make any difference at all going into Monday?
Yeah, I think it does, because teams like that do what they do. I mean, you're not going to see coaches in other schools that have reached out to me or the Watson family or even the school district is greatly appreciated, and it definitely helps and won't be forgotten.
Yeah, good to hear. Good to hear. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Nate.
All right, Dan Aker tonight, head coach at Winter, going through something that nobody really wants to go through. That's a tough deal, and then you're in the middle of trying to play games and everything else, which seems trivial. Really tough deal. Wanted to get him on and sure appreciate him talking about it. Hope the Winter Warrior family can move forward in a positive way, and hope their season ends up continuing to honor the memory of Taylor Watzel, 16-year-old for the Warriors, passed away in a tragic accident out there in Winter. Looking forward to the high school football playoffs. This is when it gets fun. This is when everybody gets excited. Really looking forward to a lot of the games tomorrow night. I appreciate all my guests tonight. I really do. Their time is valuable, and their insight, always really good stuff. Appreciate all my guests dropping by tonight. Remember, go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow for all the interviews archived right there. You can listen to each interview in podcast form at your own convenience and get ready and get plugged in for the big matchups, not only tomorrow, but on Saturday at O'Hara Stadium, the college football matchup with the Hard Rockers hosting Fort Lewis. We had Zach Tinker on, South Dakota Mines head coach, as they look to move their record to 6-3. Busy show tonight. Go to sdsportsbuzz.com tomorrow for all the archived interviews. We'll be back next Wednesday, better than ever. If it's Wednesday night, it's SD Sports Buzz tonight. Enjoy football. Have a great week, everybody. See ya.